Three, two, one.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Airing It Out podcast live. I am your host, Dustin Marion, my partner in crime, Hollow Clutch, and today we are introducing a third component to the show. We got Uncle Salty. Thanks for coming on, brother. How you doing?
Really pleasure to join you. Can't wait to get start airing it up.
It's okay, bro. Don't worry about it. It's all good. So we're gonna jump right in. So my man Deshaun, he's already hot in the streets, right in the midst of maybe getting traded or headed to a better place. What are our thoughts on that? We'll start with you, Hollow.
I think that it's real convenient that all of a sudden, when Homeboy wants to leave, all these sexual allegations are coming out. And the fact that he says, no matter what you guys offer me or whatever you guys say to me, I'm not going to stay. I'm going to leave no matter what coach you pick, what players you put around me. Anything you try to do, bring all the black coaches, as many as you want to bring here. I'm leaving no matter what. I just think it's a little fishy. The timing couldn't be any more perfect. And who knows? I'm really in conspiracy land right now. So we'll see how this goes.
Uncle Salty, what do you think?
The Texans organization to lower the draft stock of Deshaun before they decide to deal him. You know, they're trying to make it so he's not worth 5 first-round picks, et cetera, so they can get him out of town. Although the allegations seem pretty credible, I still feel like it's kind of a hit job. I mean, what the girls are alleging that he did was that he asked for happy endings from professional masseuses, which is generally frowned upon. But, you know, this seems to be pretty popular in the NFL, even among the ownership. And we saw the very, very difficult penalty they handed out to Patriots ownership for similar allegations. So we'll see where this leads to Sean.
I thought it was terrible in the sense of not only did it seem like a smear campaign, as we talked a little bit off the air, Uncle, but it's more so the tact. I mean, how are you releasing court documents on Instagram?
Well, it's public record. Anytime you sue somebody, it's public record. So that's why it's never close.
You could have maybe released it to a reporter or to a news network. I mean, is that where we're headed now? Like, as soon as something gets bombed, now it goes through social media. Is that now our new news outlets?
Well, it's been like that for me the last 5 to 7 years. It's been that. It's always breaking on Twitter.
The news break, a lot of news breaks on Twitter and Instagram and things of that nature now. And it doesn't actually have to be from credible sources, which is the real problem, is that there's a lot of people reporting media who aren't really professional in any way. They're just people with a cell phone. But again, I feel like these allegations are kind of credible, unfortunately.
I know reading some of the accusers, like one girl said she just felt uncomfortable because he was naked, like one of the suits. Like, as a masseuse, you're gonna encounter a client being naked, like, depending on how that client likes to get a massage. So, like, are you like, did he touch you, or you just felt uncomfortable that he was naked while you were going to give him a massage? Like, those are two different things that hopefully that one allegation, happens. And then the other one, supposedly that she touched his penis. What happens if he was naked, turned, and then like hit her hand kind of thing? Like, I'm not trying to discredit these women, but we don't know. Like, I just find the timing odd.
I'm gonna jump in real quick, okay? Because I read the second accusation, and the young lady basically said that when he brought him in, he was saying, let's say he was having problems in his upper thigh area and in his glutes. She was working on that area. from the back, so he was laying down. I don't think she came out and said anything about her feeling uncomfortable. Maybe that would have been the first claim. I looked into it slightly, but I looked more into the second claim because I didn't really believe so much the first one. Not that it didn't have credibility, but the fact that it was coming from, you know, a relation from the Houston Texans had me a little worried. So anyways, he turns over, and a part of, you know, the complaint is that he kept like moving her hand closer to his Johnson, and then just kept asking her, are you okay with this? Are you okay with this? Are you okay with this? Eventually, until he got to the shaft and he exposed himself to her, and she said she wasn't okay after him exposing herself to him. So obviously this is gonna have to be looked at further. But at the same token, I just think that this looks really, really bad on Deshaun.
I think it's a perfect timing, though. I think it's a perfect storm. It's like I said, he's a black quarterback who just wants to get out of the situation. And let's not forget that the Texans owner was the one who said we can't let the inmates run the asylum. You know, like, we can't forget that. So it could be this power structure where, look, James Harden bounced from the Rockets. Now you have another prominent superstar who wants to leave the Texans, you know. And one thing I could commend Deshaun is on coming out and saying, I didn't do this shit. Because you have a lot of guys who would just stay quiet, stay behind their lawyer, and let the lawyer release a statement and just let the due process. He's like, fuck that. I didn't do shit. Like, they could accuse me all they want. I didn't do anything, and I'm waiting to clear my name. I think most innocent people aren't going to go that route. They're going to stay a little quiet. You know, the people who are guilty are going to stay quiet and try to let their lawyers, you know, dictate this, let the league, you know, whatever. And then now the league, Roger Goodell could still suspend him even if he's innocent.
Right.
Because the CBA, these fucking cocksuckers, go and sign a horrible CBA, and now he's you know, judge, jury, and executioner. So it doesn't even matter if he's innocent, and if the girls come out and say he didn't do anything to us, he could still get suspended 8-9 games and still get game checks. So
this is my concern. Where, and I know you said public record, but this is brutal. And I'm going to use a word that Uncle Salty and I throw around a lot right now. In this toxic masculinity climate, right? In the climate of this, you can't just smear people's whole lives by dropping shit like this. This is crazy. This could cost this kid his career. This could cost him future endorsements. I mean, he could literally get banned from the league for this.
And his 100 whatever record contract could get voided for detrimental to the league, like what happened with Antonio Brown and the Raiders. So who knows if the Texans are setting that up too, so where they could get out from under the $170 million they're paying him over the next 4 or 5 years. So that could be another avenue.
I'm gonna let Uncle Salty chime in 1 second, but this is what I want to know. I think we know guys pretty well, right? How did you not know that he was kind of disgruntled? Why would you sign him for such a big deal and just let him hit free agency? Like, the Houston Texans have a bigger problem than just ownership and front office issues, because this is something that's been boiling obviously for a minute, right? And homeboy's been running for his life for a hot second. Like, I don't know why they signed him to this long-term deal, and literally a year after you have all these problems.
It's really poor ownership. I mean, that's what it's indicative of. And especially, you know, when you're dealing with an entirely black employee, and then you say some undercover racist inmates from the asylum. If I'm a black player, I want out there, and I don't want to do anything to help you make any money going forward. Actually, it would make me root against your team over and over and over, because what kind of asshole would I be playing for a dude that thinks of me as an inmate, even though I'm still a multi-million-dollar athlete and one of the highest profile people in the entire country. But to the guy who signed checks, I'm an inmate. Yeah, the Texans, their whole organization, they're going to be bad for a long, long time. And I honestly think that this sort of, I mean, with all of the players that are getting massages and flying in masseuses, I'm thinking that these happy endings are a little more commonplace than everybody is admitting to. And I think that this might be going on in a lot of the organizations just now that Deshaun is in the bad spirits with this team, that now they're just kind of putting it out there. Like it's something that they have on a bunch of players, but it's something that nobody really talks about because it's just kind of part of the deal.
But if you go back to it, look at
that wouldn't surprise me.
Everybody's forgotten about Big Ben and his rape allegations. Why? Because he's a white boy. Like everything was swept under the rug.
Me and Uncle Salty talked about it yesterday. It's totally true.
They just let that swept him under the rug and they let it be. Nobody brings it up.
I think that I do a lot. I think Big Ben's a freaking scumbag. Especially when you're married. Don't bother getting married if you're gonna not only chase other women. I mean, that's fine. But
he was technically single when that happened, and people got in his camp and were like, "Get married immediately to clean up the image that you've put out there." And so now he kind of, this is me throwing a little bit more fluff to it. He basically became like a born again Christian after the whole fucking thing. So it was just he's repented and now we moved forward. And he made a bad decision under the influence. Meanwhile, he had offensive linemen at the front door of the restroom, according to the court document that was released on that. So this is the problem, and this is the thing with the NFL, and this is why I keep banging on my chest about LBJ. Dude's gotta just start retiring, but the best players have to start maybe taking to task some of this ownership. It's so unfair. No one ever gets paid. No one ever gets paid, and it's ridiculous. And every time you're trying to get paid, and you're a little too dark to be dark, there's some problems. You know what I mean? There's always some issues, always, and you gotta be able to, I guess, dodge it. I don't even know how he put himself in this situation. Even if he came close enough, let's say what Hala was saying is true. Let's say she was just in the upper groin area. That's way too close, my man. You're $1 million man. You should not even be putting yourself in that situation, or you should be signing or making, I don't know, look for people that do that kind of work.
I would just get men. If I would just get men. Just so you don't have to deal with that situation at all. You're never gonna come across.
That's what Tom Brady does. That's what Tom Brady does. Tom Brady got a man massaging him all the time, and he's not getting in hot water with his missus.
But again, if it was Matthew Stafford, if this was any other, if it was a white quarterback, that would be fine. Look at, for instance, I know it's not even the same situation, but Joe Flacco is getting another fucking shot to become a quarterback. They're bringing him in to work him out. So it just shows a difference. Look at Colin Kaepernick. Didn't get one fucking chance to prove himself. It sucks.
With coaches.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with coaches. If you're a black head coach, you get an opportunity. You might get a second, but they bring back white head coaches who have had losing records everywhere they've ever been.
Jeff Fisher.
Or they've only had success in college. But I think part of that is every job I've ever gotten has been essentially from a referral, with the exception of 2 to 3. Somebody that worked there. You knew somebody in college, and you guys worked together on that football team. That's how a lot of these guys are getting these head coaching jobs. And these black head coaches just aren't in those social circles. They aren't in those fraternities. So until the jobs start getting passed out strictly on the interviews and merit, knowing people is going to be the best way to get a head coaching.
And the issue, another thing to cut you off, but the issue is that I get mad at the players because they don't want to stand their ground with the CBA. Empower yourself. I feel like the NFLPA is one of the worst out of the top 3. Why are you not having these guys ready to go to the wire to get what you guys need and deserve? But no, everybody's selfish. You just need 1,500 votes, the majority of the wins. So even if Aaron Rodgers was to come out and say, guys, we should not vote on this CBA, which some of the mid-level guys came out and said, let's not vote for the CBA. They did anyway, because everybody was selfish, and it is in their own self-interest because they want to go and overspend because they never came into money before, and they put themselves in these bad situations. That's where we're at now.
And a CBA for the NFL is so terrible because of all the people who should have guaranteed contracts. It's the guy that every game I go out, I'm risking injury, and not just regular injury, but catastrophic injury. And also, I'm expected to play with injuries. If a basketball player jams a finger, nobody wants to put him on the
Hey, Brandon,
field,
we're gonna come right back. Hey, live audience right now. We still haven't upgraded to the money Zoom shit. We're still trying to test these waters. We're gonna come right back. We're gonna take a quick pause and we're gonna get back into this bitch.
Okay. You're gonna send new emails out. Okay. All right, chat. I mean, guys, hang in there with me. I'm here. I'm still rocking out with you guys. If you guys can hear my voice, we're just gonna get this back up and running. We're gonna wait for the email to pop right back into the Zoom, and we're gonna be making it, man. We're gonna be making it. Tell me you guys' thoughts in the chat of what you guys think. All right, we got Lewis in the chat. Thing is that mainstream news is instigating fights between groups in America, racial, religious, more now than ever. When that happens, along with constant lies, fake news, people report the fake news. That's true. And right now, like, it doesn't even matter if you are, it doesn't even matter if your situation is correct. Like, as long as the new media, which is on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, it's like, as long as you're first, that's all that matters. So you could put out, all this information, and it could be wrong, and then you don't have any repercussions of retracting the information. So it gets crazy out here. It gets crazy in these streets, and I'm looking forward to one day where we could move past this. Well, we take this opportunity where we're waiting for Dustin to get situated over here. I want you guys to know that soon we're going to be launching a Patreon page. I hope everybody could pull up to the Patreon page. We're going to give exclusive content to our paying members, where we're going to do exclusive show. You get access to show us a little bit sooner. We're going to do some other things where you get to call into the show, ask us questions on the show, bring up some topics, and any of the dicey things that happen, or we're talking about, where it could be anything with transgender or anything with a topic that is in woke culture right now and a little taboo. We will keep that going and keep that situated, and we'll have that on Patreon. So we don't have to worry about anybody being in our ass or giving us a hard time. There'll be a true definition of free speech, and that's what we're moving towards. So hopefully, guys, you stick in there. We'll let you guys know. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and we're gonna send a link out to you guys so you can join our Patreon. All right, we got Dustin back in here. We got Uncle Salty's back.
Are we all good? Are we ready to rock and roll?
We're ready to rock and roll.
All right, cool. So, Uncle Salty, you were saying about the CBA and how the guaranteed money, especially for the injuries, is really tough on these players. I mean, they get paid the least, and they put their body on the line the most.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate because a lot of the other leagues do a really good job. The baseball union is exceptionally good. They only had one strike the entire time. Their players get very well taken care of. And football, it's really, they use you up and they spit you out. And a union is supposed to prevent your employer from doing just that, from using you up and spitting you out. And the football players union, I don't really think it helps them with that. Very, very little.
Yeah, that really sucks. I just think that the players in the baseball, man, they don't give a fuck, bro. If it sucks, they're like, we're not playing. That's it. We don't play. And the NFL, like you were saying, there's just too many middle-level guys that are willing that are the only ones willing to put their thing on the line. Because Brady's not going to strike, Rodgers is not going to strike, some of these other big names are not going to strike, and they're just gonna truck along because the big name guys are the ones who get taken care of the most. So
But
realistically,
even if
they're not.
the issue is, even if they do strike, it doesn't hurt them. Like, they're gonna get outvoted anyway. So if all the top guys came together, it's what, maybe 200. So you still got the other 1,300 who are not making the top 1% of the cap. So you got, like, Russell Wilson takes 25% of the cap. That's it. Like, there's nobody else. Like, the only way it would work is these guys who don't go and put if they have 5 kids, all 5 kids in public school, a private school, where each of them are gonna pay 10, 20,000 per kid, and then you go get a house that you can't afford. You go get 2-3 cars, you get a house for your mom, you get a house for Uncle Dennis, you get a house for this person, and now you're strapped for cash. And now, like, people look at you crazy where you're getting $500,000 a week, but you're living paycheck to paycheck because you have you don't know how to use your funds, and that's what happens.
The regular players, the guys that you're talking about, these aren't rich guys. This might be their one opportunity to play in the league, and the average career is only 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm a guy and I'm only making $1 million a season, and folks, please forgive me for saying only making $1 million. It is relative to what the big guys are playing. I'm not going to forego my opportunity for 1 year to strike. I only have 3 years of my life to strike. So it's. I don't think they're going to improve the situation very much for the players in the near future.
I didn't want to digress too much. I mean, me and H get on this motherfucker all the time and just complain about the CBA, and really the owners keep screwing these guys. And me and Uncle Salty off air, I was telling you on how upset I get that we don't pay the guys, or not we specifically, the ownership doesn't play. You could have the greatest season ever, right, and still not get paid. Right, and they try to lowball you, and then they give you a contract that's built with incentives, like, oh, you're a one-hit wonder, Papa. You're not even gonna do that again. You know what I mean? And then you talked last week, H, more so about not even getting paid on potential. So this whole thing is terrible. And then now this comes out right in the midst where a prominent black quarterback doesn't want to play for a terrible institution, because now they're considered an institution because they got inmates or whatever they call it. Yeah, asylum. I don't even know what the fuck is going on over there. I wouldn't even want to play in that team. But we all get that, and it sucks. I hope it's not true. And to be honest with you, you know what it looks like this is trending towards? I'm gonna say it right now in the air because it's been going crazy on Twitter. Deshaun Watson is gonna be a New England Patriot because fucking Bill Belichick doesn't give a flying fuck about a checkered past and cares about what guys do on the field. And with that team that they're building, if they get Deshaun, it's a wrap.
The owner won't have any problem with bringing Deshaun.
He might be able to help him find some spots. He might be able to. He be like, yo, pa, you messing up. Don't go to Florida. Don't go to Texas. We got it down up here in New England. We got some places in Rhode Island where nobody cares.
Oh, they pull up to us and sign NDAs. They pull up to us and sign NDAs. That's what Bob Kraft probably starts doing now. Hey, sign this NDA, 7 pages. Front and back,
dude.
Sign.
Listen, when the kids blow up, that's the 2 things. That's the 2 rules. To hang out with me, I want the phone at the door in a Ziploc bag that has like some gizmo in that turns it off, and I want an NDA that you sign right here.
Derek Jeter slays so much pussy, and you never heard one peep. The only thing that ever came out of Derek Jeter was the taxes supposedly he avoided in Florida. But besides that, he slayed so much pussy, and any party you ever had, you had to leave your phone at the front door.
It's not what would Jesus do. It's what would Jeter do.
There you go. We're going to make shirts with that shit. That's going to be the new airing it out shirt. What would Jeter do?
Switching gears here.
Let's go.
We got Armand Hammer being investigated by the LAPD. Another dude who's just running into with women. And what are your thoughts on that?
So I want to correct that. I probably did a typo. I want to give him love. So it's Army, even though I'm going to go trash him right now. I don't know, man. I think it's another thing of people with power. I just read this intense article that someone wrote a book about this being part of their heritage. Like his grandpa, his dad, his great granddad were just, a little shady when it came to the women department. I don't know, man. Another dude that didn't do what Jeter would do. He should have been signing non-DNAs with these girls. I mean, as soon as it came out that he was supposedly eating flesh, he was going down. It was just a matter of time. Yeah, Uncle Salty, I seen that face. So this young man got leaked out that he liked to, I don't know if it was torture chicks, but definitely eat like parts of them. So he was like a kind of a cannibal on the low. And there's documentation that's come out, and there's women that come forward that he's been a little rough in the bedroom and has also taken pieces of their flesh and eaten it. And so now LAPD is on his ass and they're looking into it. And another guy falls. It's just every week. And this week it was just two guys.
Is this guy, what does he do for a living?
He's an actor. He was the guy. Well, let me see what movie he did great in. He was in The Social Network, the movie. Probably a lot of people didn't see it. He played the twins that Zuckerberg screwed out of Facebook. Twins. Right. Yeah. Then he also played in the Lone Ranger. He played the lead in that. He hasn't really had like a really breakthrough thing where he was like the main guy. He was creeping, but now he's done because they ain't touching him with a 10-foot pole in Hollywood now.
I think right now he should probably be in a psychiatric hospital. Like seriously, this is the thing. This is what a psychiatric hospital is for. Is for a crazy fuck that wants to eat the girls that he's having sex with. Wow.
Yeah, fetish, baby, fetish. I didn't even prep you properly for this. I wanted to get like a real reaction. Yeah. So he's out there in Hollywood eating ladies, literally, and he's in a whole mess of trouble. Listen, when you get the police involved, like right now, Deshaun doesn't have the police involved.
Right
now, this guy has the police involved. He's in trouble. But again, right, what Hollow was saying earlier, this guy is loaded. He comes from a family of wealth. He's just going to get a slap on the wrist, and then he's going to go away. He'll probably go to another country, lay low for a few years, and then emerge maybe later on. He's still a young guy. Let's say he's in his mid-30s. He could come back and do something else at his 50. But the thing is, he's not working for a check. He's already paid.
Sounds like a case of probation coming up for me because, they'll come off with something like, well, he didn't rape her. And, eating part of someone isn't exactly breaking the law. But honestly, I wouldn't let that man near anybody that I know and love, or near anybody, any part of my family. If you're eating people and you're not on a cliff starving to death, I mean, honestly, if we crash the plane and we're all sitting on a rock and it's week 7 and everyone's starving to death, I will eat your butt cheek in order to survive. That's fine. But that's an entirely different story. I'm not going to eat human flesh as some sort of sadistic sexual. I mean, I'm a freak, but eating.
I don't even know if I was on the side of a mountain if I would eat somebody. I'd probably puke. There's like no seasoning. We ain't got no broth. You know what I mean? Like there's no rice and beans to go with that shit. I'm gonna probably die. I'll let you guys eat me. Fuck it. I'm like, look, I'll throw myself up to the greater good. Just push me off a cliff real quick, so it's quick, and then just pick me back up and take it down because that's some Hannibal Lecter shit.
Yeah. It's just really strange that guy should be in a psychiatric hospital.
All right, so from one delusional guy, I think from one delusional guy who was this dude to another delusional guy who people think and forgot for a second, think that Damian Lillard is the best shooter in the NBA. I think...
Hold on, wait. Let's pump the brakes, right? Because it doesn't say that in the fucking notes, right? And second of all, one boy was cooking for 50 points, and he's in the middle of nowhere. And he's a good dude.
Sure.
He could rap like a motherfucker. Yep. I mean, he's got to be cracking the top 10. I mean, he's a top 10 player. Is the argument now maybe considered 5 or 6?
No.
Because he's balling.
He's probably not even top 10 still.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, here comes that harsh judge. I like when Hollow gets brutal. Why doesn't he cop why doesn't he crack the top 10 in your opinion?
Okay.
Besides hardware.
Well, that's how you got to rate them. If you're rating a great top 10 player, right?
Harden doesn't have hardware, and Harden
and that's
is
why he's like an outside looking in for the top 5.
Right, but he's still in the top 10.
but look what he's doing. He's having 40-point triple doubles. Yeah, like that's a totally different thing. Where, at least he's went to the Western Conference Finals maybe 3 or 4 times. And I know Damian Lillard has beaten him head to head. I think back in 2014 he beat him on a walk-off shot when Dwight was still on the Rockets. But I think we're just a prisoner of the moment. I think he took over the NBA bubble, and people just fell in love with him. Everybody forgot about, Steph, and was trying to make a case for him. I always said this. I said if Steph wasn't in the league and Steph wasn't, around, he would be the best shooter in the league. Damian Lillard.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
But unfortunately, Clay is more of a catch and shoot than Lillard could do.
Yeah, just to shoot.
Almost close to what Steph can do. The reason why Steph is the greatest because he could shoot off of screens, off the dribble, mid-range, half court, everything. Clay is just a pure catch and shoot guy. He's not a between your legs, turn around, off, off the dribble shooting.
Off the dribble, yeah.
That's a totally different beast.
Okay.
But he's one of them. He's emerging. He just needs to get over the hump. And I don't know
I think
if he can.
If you're saying that he's 2 to fucking Steph, then he's totally a top 10 player.
Yeah, but Steph owns him. That's the issue.
Oh, okay. But that's another thing too. So look, I was listening to some of his interviews, and he's talking about like, oh, I know what it is to be forgotten and blah blah. I think he was playing a little bit of a violin there. But at the same token, bro, the West is too stacked. There's no way you're gonna dominate if you're in the West. You need to get out of the West.
No, you don't. Look at Steph. You don't have to leave.
But Steph, what I'm saying is this: San Francisco, right, or Golden State is more attractive to land free agents, a la Kevin Durant, than Portland is. Portland is like the equivalent, in my opinion, to Ohio. Even LeBron James couldn't get guys to go there. He had to leave and then come back, and then all of a sudden people got interested. I think what Damian Lillard is doing on an island, I mean, obviously he's top 20, but I still think he's making a case, man. The guy can fucking ball. Yeah. He balls better than a lot of the other players. And the heart and championship that we talk about all the time, you can see it in his eyes. He's a beast. I mean, if he went to any team that was loaded, if he went to a super team, he would throw them way over the fucking hump.
The issue is him flopping in the playoffs. So like that comes into account. So you got regular season, you cook in a regular season. Everybody gives you that little grace period, like when you're baking a cake. You just wait, let it fluff up. So you get that little 4 or 5 year grace period. Then you get swept by the 6th seed. They got swept by New Orleans. They got slapped by Steph without KD. They got slapped when Steph came back off of a bruised knee. Like, he has a lot of these shortcomings. And then look at in the bubble, he got hurt in the bubble, but then the Lakers just steamrolled them in the bubble. So like, where is this in the playoffs? That's why the same thing. That's why Giannis, he's having almost a better year than he had last year, but he's not going to win the MVP because of the last 2 postseasons. You have to show up when it counts the most, and that's what makes you a top 10, top 5 player. If you can't show up then you gotta get skipped over by somebody else.
No, that's a fair argument. I mean, like when we get down to the the hoop, you always provide an interesting perspective. I just say, look, forget about the hardware. Regular season, homeboy is phenomenal. I would like to make a campaign to get him to the Knicks because we're playing with 500, and that would definitely put us over the hump to have a star player like him. But yeah, I mean, look, right now there really isn't nothing going on, so you got a lot of people with the eyeballs on the basketball, obviously scoring 50 points, and the stat sheet that he provided for that one game was awesome. I mean, he's gonna have to stay at that kind of level. Would you raise him up? Let's say he stays at this level, right? Not 50, but let's say he's a double guy and he does 40 and 10 every night. Could he still get the MVP or no?
No.
In your opinion, no. Right now, in your opinion, who's getting the MVP? LeBron James or Harden?
I think it's Harden, but they're gonna hold that against him for not showing
LeBron
up
James or Harden?
against the Rockets in the beginning of the year. Like that, him quitting. Like the writers are mad soft and sensitive, and not gonna be,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Uncle Salty.
That's what drives the MVP votes is the writers.
Yep.
They need to change that. Go ahead, Uncle Salty. What are you gonna
if he goes 40 and 10 for the season, I think that's like a guaranteed MVP. Jordan never scored 40 a game in the NBA. The most he ever scored a game, I think, was 38, and was only grabbing 7 to 9 rebounds at the time. I mean, granted, he was winning championship after championship, but if you go 40 and 10 for the year,
I think that
you have to be in the conversation.
The issue is that it will be in the conversation, but the issue is that you got to look at guys who did it from beginning to end. So like LeBron, beginning to the end of the season. You know, James Harden, when I get it, they try to gonna hold against those 2 weeks against him in the Rockets. But look at the first game he came back for the Rockets, 44, 16, and 12. Like, just to show I could still cook ya. Like, in the Rockets.
That guy is making a case for like top 3 player right now.
For sure. But he has the same issue that Damian Lillard has. You flop in the postseason.
In the playoffs. Yeah, so disappears.
I love he does it with a dad bod. That's the best part about the whole thing.
Exactly.
He's out there with a good 40 on people.
Yep.
He's unbelievable. He's like the maestro out there. I'm very, very, very impressed. But we gotta. I want to. Speaking of basketball, and before I move gears real quick, I wanted to say, you think automatic LBJ again then? Because they love this dude.
They most likely they've already.
It's like, yo, here.
That's one thing about the NBA is that once a narrative is set, that's how the narrative goes, and that's how they're gonna vote. It has nothing to do with anything. Like when Russell Westbrook had the triple double, it was just because he had a triple double for the season, and it didn't matter that his team was a 5th seed. Like it was just that he was the best. You know, he did something historic.
He was filthy.
But he wasn't the best player in the league. Like all that shit, he won. He still had the 5th seed in the league, and then he got bounced in the first round anyway by Ricky Rubio. So, like, it didn't mean anything.
I don't know whose idea it was to play Russell Westbrook at the 1. Like that is, you have a black hole playing the 1 when he's supposed to be distributing the ball. All I've ever seen Russ do is go to the rack out of control and try to score. And if he doesn't, kick it out to the 3-point line. Like you can do that if you play the 2. I can even use you as a coach if you play the 3 and are good at that. But as a 1, as a distributor, I thought that he was just a torpedo to your team. That is the last guy as a coach I would ever want running point for me.
That's Scott Skiles' fault.
Price too.
That's Scott Skiles' fault, and that's the coach that's in the Washington right now. So he's right back to the same coach.
He's got to be a 3 or 2. He's big enough. You know, have him be your shooting guard. You don't have that guy giving up the rock because he never does.
Well, let's get back to my Boo Bear because my Boo Bear just did something crazy. I don't know what my Boo is doing. You know, so the emblem that you have on your hat is usually where LeBron is sitting watching the game. All of a sudden, he switched gears in us and becomes, I don't even know how much of a partnership he has, but now he's a partner and potentially portion owner of the Boston Red Sox. What are you thinking about that, H? And then we'll throw it to Uncle Salty because that's got to be interesting. A guy goes from Ohio to Miami to LA, and then in LA, while in LA, you own a portion of the Boston Red Sox baseball team.
I think it's dope. I think you get more of these guys into power. Hopefully, it's not like like when Jay-Z had a portion of the Nets. It was really minute. Like it was like 0.2%. So, but he just had a big name, and it was driving, the sales, and people really thought like that Jay-Z had this really big portion of the Nets when he really didn't. Like he was a really small owner. But I hope LeBron for everything off the court, LeBron has been A+++++. 1,000%. I won't ever hate on anything he does off the court and outside the lines.
China.
Well, that I brought up. We could talk about that. I just think for what he's doing, and hopefully, he influences, the game to make it more fun. I hope he makes, like get rid of single A, get rid of high, low A, double A, just leave triple A and MLB. You're either good enough or you're not. And you bring up all this talent that's in the minor league. Stop leaving these guys down there for 7 years, 8 years. You know, bring some excitement, and hopefully he pushes a better narrative.
So I got an interesting question before I let you jump in right there, Uncle Salty. Why not let Mark Cuban in, but you let LeBron James in, even if it's just a small portion of ownership? Because they refuse to let Mark Cuban in.
I have no idea what's the difference. You know, it's ownership. He's got a bunch of money.
I think they don't want anybody to be outlandish and push back. Probably, if you got an owner who's gonna say the MLBPA sucks, or what's his name, the commissioner of baseball, whatever. If he talks shit about the commissioner of baseball, or if he calls out, you know, the Cincinnati owner saying, "Why the hell does your facility suck?" Like these guys
don't want.
These billionaires have egos. They don't want anybody else to tell them something. But so if a billionaire tells you something, you can't, like, what are you going to say? You can't combat a billionaire. You know, he's going to tell you what he's going to tell you. So I think that's why probably they don't want him in there.
Uncle Salty, do you think having LBJ, even if it's a 0.00002 ownership, I don't know, I don't think it's that small for him. Would it bring in more free agents to Boston?
I don't think so. I don't think it makes much of a difference if he's in ownership, as long as he's not in management. He's not going to be affecting any of the decisions the team makes, really. You know, he's just part owner of a franchise that's always going to pay dividends because the people in New England worship the Red Sox. So that's a solid business investment, because no matter if they're 21-90 or if they win the World Series, it's still going to be $70 for a bleacher seat from the friggin' scalpers out on the Yawkey Way.
Yeah, that's a fair statement. That actually is probably a solid situation. That's a good investment, right? Way to make your money work for you instead of you working for your money.
This phone's about to die, homie.
Is it okay? Hold on, hold tight.
An extension cord.
Hey,
All
one
right,
second.
so while he figures that out, get the extension cord. All right, so we have on our docket. All right, so we have right now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to tune in and chime in and write something in the chat. What did you guys think of the Grammys and the whole WAP and the whole Candace Owens Cardi B issue? What did you guys think about that? Let me know in the chat. While we get the technical difficulties situated over here.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for hanging tough with us. We've had a couple of in-studio situations. Last week, Hollow broke his bladder for the first time.
Yep.
This time we had a Zoom situation, and these phones, they're supposed to last so long, but I don't know, man. They keep changing the USB plugs, and they keep on making these phones die faster and faster. So go ahead, H, lead us into the next.
I was bringing us in. It could go probably to the next segment, but we're gonna leave it as own by itself right now. WAP, wet ass pussy, won a Grammy, and people are concerned.
Instead the Republicans go crazy.
What are your thoughts?
No, I want to ask you first, because I feel like I'm gonna go burn the building down and we're gonna get canceled off of this one. I wanted to see maybe somebody who's got two girls thinks about this.
I thought it to be a weird dynamic, because if it was, I think we spoke about this yesterday off air, if it was two men up there doing that, it would have been an outrage, but you kind of brought it to my attention and probably would have said they probably would have won another Grammy just because it was two men up there, just because of the state of where we're in right now. But I don't know. Like,
if the name of the song was Hard Ass Cock, and it was just a dude and he was misogynistic about it, they would have fucking set the stage on fire.
For sure. I think we need, like, as me having two girls, it just shows how prevalent, you know, getting your kids out of bad situations, bad neighborhoods, you know, having them educated and let them make the right decisions for themselves. Like, I wouldn't know what to do if that was my daughters up on stage, you know, doing what they were doing. But
Scissoring is what they call that.
you
Hey, I didn't even see it. Did they get gangster like that on the stage?
it was basically, just imagine a lesbian scene in porn, just without the dildo and without the penetration. It was basically like that.
Okay. So hold on. Let's rewind the tape a little bit, okay? Before I start dialing in and start taking shots at everybody. How? And this is gonna sound crazy, but if you're supposed to be like a respectable award ceremony, why would you allow that to take place? Like that sounds crazy to me. And I know what the song is, and maybe Uncle Salty could clarify us because we brought in somebody else with a different opinion on this. But right there, to me, that shit sounds dangerous because this is the show that supposedly kids are watching.
In the beginning of hip hop in like 94 and 95, the most sexual, misogynistic songs I've ever heard, NWA made them on the Niggas for Life album. If you want to go to YouTube and listen to some of those songs, they are just as sexual and obscene, if you will, as Wet Ass Pussy. Just, it didn't win a Grammy back then. And it's kind of crazy to me that Wet Ass Pussy has everyone's head spinning just the way that really NWA did when they came out and they said fuck the police the first time. It's the same almost hysteria over a song when, like, we have a porn empire in this country that I enjoy a great deal, that's worth billions and billions of dollars, and there's sex everywhere. I mean, it's literally everywhere. Whereas when I was a child, sex was a little sex in your face was a room in the back of a VHS department and Playboy magazines behind the store counter at a Brooks Drugs or something like that. And I just think that this is where we are as a society sexually, where it's just everywhere and it's in your face and people are becoming desensitized to it. Wet Ass Pussy, I've heard the lyrics about halfway through, and I gave up on hip hop a long time ago. So
before I let you go, Dustin,
one way or the other.
Before I let you go, Dustin, go ahead.
But they've done this. Hip hop has already done this sexually, and I don't understand why it's a thing now.
I think before you go, Dustin, I think the real issue is, like, the issue that I have is that we could cancel Dr. Seuss and cancel Pepe Le Pew, but this is okay. That, like, that's the issue.
Pepe Le Pew is a sexual harasser like you've never seen before. I mean,
but like, even if it is, it's still something. It's still something that you can show your kids. Where it's like, hey, listen, if somebody's grabbing onto you like this or touching you in this manner, you should tell your parents, tell an adult, tell somebody at school. It can still be used as a learning tool, as opposed.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I don't think. And as a instead of canceling it altogether, use it as a kind of a learning tool. Say, hey, if somebody grabs you like this, because I have two daughters, and I say, hey, if somebody grabs you here or grabs you down there or touches you or tries to make you touch something, even if it's me, even if you feel comfortable that you think it's me or mommy or anybody who you know, family member, you tell somebody that so you feel comfortable and safe. So I think we should take those, like Pepe Le Pew, and say, teach it to kids and say, hey, listen, this is a little maybe too aggressive and so on. But the issue
is persistent.
Yeah, I think the major issue is that, like, I'm mostly center. Like, I'm almost center left on most issues. But like the far left is so annoying and so radical that it makes you not want to be on their side and pushes you to the other side. So, Dustin, I want to hear your thoughts, because I know you're ready to explode on this. So
I had to talk to this motherfucker and get counseling off of this shit yesterday because I was about to blow a fucking gasket. So I'm about to steal two things really quickly from our news or no news segment. So first of all, and we'll prelude it a little bit. You're telling me that Wet Ass Pussy wins a fucking Grammy, yet Nas hasn't won a fucking Grammy since 2021, and he's been in the building for 20 fucking years? Number two, I thought those were songs about music. Now what? I just don't understand. We've really lost the tea leaves here, or not the tea leaves. We've really lost our point of view on how we're classifying what good music is. Now, granted, the song is fire. I love beats. That beat is sick. The Cardi B. Homegirl is my idol because she's a real chick and she says what she feels and she's confident and she's gangsta and she owns it, and that's what it is. And that's the kind of women that I like. I want gangster women who are understand their bodies and know how to use them and know what they want when they're with other people. Now that said, Bill Burr, to steal another thing from our segment, got annihilated for making a joke about woke feminism. This is the thing. I feel like they want their pie and the cake and eat it too. You can't and Salty try to fix this on me. I'm not speaking about myself, okay? I'm speaking about the delusional dude out there, right, who's trying to ask for permission but doesn't know how, and you hear a line like, put that Mack truck in my little garage. That is not a good idea to send to homeboy. He's going to lose his fucking mind. And look, I don't side with any of these CNN people, or I don't side with, any of the Fox cats. And I know I'm going to get torched too for saying this, but I think Candace Owen has a point. If you're trying to get respect for your people, let's just call them people, because now they're going to be Dems and they are and us. Fuck the pronouns. So if you want to get more respect in your side, I think it's a little dangerous to be promoting a song that says, spit in my mouth, choke me with your cock, when poor Deshaun Watson just had it maybe touched and he's going to get crucified. You understand? And so this is the thing. I feel like maybe it's what you're saying. The extreme left, and we're going to get into this in a second because we're going to talk about staying woke, but the extreme left is banging about their chest on shit. At the same token, they get crazy about other stuff. I just think it might be blurring the lines. I think, like I said, I think the song is fire, but it's very dangerous. And we shouldn't be like, to me, if I want to see a strip show with clothes on, I know where the strip clubs are. I think that it does these artists kind of a disservice because the average person is going to look at them and say that girl is behaving in a whorish manner, when that's not entirely true. It's a performance piece, but we're losing, I feel, right? And again, might get killed, but we're losing, like, I think like Cardi B is amazing and her story is phenomenal, but now people might be looking at her in a different light, and that you're going to blow up because you're over sexualizing yourself. I just think that it's crazy. I already thought it was crazy in the beginning, and I didn't even listen to the song
Also,
when the
to
first
put it
song
into
came out.
perspective,
I didn't even know what it meant. Everybody was like, "Whap, whap, whap."
Also,
I seen it towards the end, and then when I seen it, I was like, "This song is fire!" But holy fuck, women are screaming at the top of their lungs about toxic masculinity and how we're trying to grope them and go after them and all this other shit. I get all that. We should be asking permission for everything, but I don't think it's helping the dude that's on the fence who doesn't know how to talk to a chick and hearing tracks like this. But this is also the difference too. In the hood, dating is different than dating in the burbs and in dating in the big cities. Because in the hood, a lot of gangster chicks don't give a fuck. They don't care.
And not to kill Cardi B, but there's several things. One, that wet ass pussy, whatever, keeping her man cheated, and she was trying to file for divorce. So like, that WAP didn't keep homeboy. So that's one. Two,
man, we ain't never getting Cardi B on the show now.
Are you questioning my girl Cardi's skills in the sack?
I'm just saying, like, she the homeboy still cheated on her. So
it's more than what else.
Correct. I think I said this last week. I was talking to my other boys. For every hot chick out there, there's a dude tired of fucking her. No matter who the shorty is. But another thing that kind of works against Cardi is that kind of sucks, and it got passed over, and it was really no news, which it should have been news. It was like maybe 2 years ago where she said that she would drug men.
Remember that shit? And she'd get a crucified for that, which is crazy. Please finish this statement because this is extremely important to hear.
She would drug men, rob them, and do whatever to them and leave.
Yeah, that's standard. That's like standard street prostitute operating procedures. Like when there's no regulation and illegal stuff, people do illegal things. And I mean, what better than some dude that comes in for a prostitute can't go to the cop after I give him a drink and take $800 from him. I mean, like, that is
Yeah, but if you're
the
gonna
nature.
get investigated by the LAPD for carving pieces out of chicks and eating them, then they got to be under the same fucking scrutiny too, man. Because that's some bullshit that you could fucking drug a regular Joe dude who thinks he's gonna have a good time and you just rob him, because that is death, right? And I don't even know all the laws and shit, but you could go to jail for that.
But once you go into something that you know is illegal, you forfeit all your rights to the protection of
All right,
legal.
that's true. See, that's why we gotta have you on. Yeah, thank you.
But what if what if they didn't know it was going to be an illegal thing? Because then she would have to she would have to admit that she's a prostitute. Is what I'm saying. So she would be in an illegal activity.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, like, if I meet Shorty at the bar, buy a couple drinks, we going back to my crib, I have no idea that she's gonna drug me and rob me for my chains, my watches, my money. Like that's technically what she said she would do to survive in the streets. And now, don't get me wrong, you know, like Jay-Z sold crack, other people sold dope, Master P sold drugs, he sold shit out of his car. Like, don't get me wrong, but if a man were to come out and say, hey, I drugged women. Look at Bill Cosby.
Yep.
Bill Cosby literally did what Cardi B did. You know, but he just did it over a long period of time, so it looked way worse. But she still did it.
Actually assault them, and she would rob them.
You know, but it's just like, let's say, right, for instance, if we don't know if this happened, let's say she robbed somebody, right, a guy for $5,000, and that guy owed that $5,000 to somebody else. What happens if that guy got killed? Now, is it her fault that he got killed? Like, it's a weird balance of, you don't know what can happen. What if that 5 G's was for his kid or something, and now he got taken to court, he got arrested. Like, we don't know the ripple effects of what she did, but it was okay that because she did it. You know, like, it's a crazy thing.
Okay. It was absolutely not okay. It's never okay to drug and
of course not. But I'm saying to the public. To the public, it was okay because it wasn't a story. It was spoken about and glossed completely over. Like, all right, Cardi B did this so much to survive because she's a woman. Because so many women have been disenfranchised, so they get to she gets a hall pass.
Well, I mean, when you're like a prostitute, I guess people feel like sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that, oh, it's cool that she drugged and raped people, but what I'm saying is, like, when you get to that level of existence, you know, where like you feel like you have to sell your body, you're going to do a lot of other things that people find not good.
I just think, like I said, and I'm not gonna try to do this because the woke feminism, they're gangster, and I'm not trying to piss them off at all.
Right.
Fuck them.
I respect women. I love them. I know you gangster. You. But what I'm saying is that if you're trying to retrain men on how to handle women, WAP is not helping.
Okay, I just want to say that we have sexualized almost every female artist that's
Oh, okay. We got cut off here. Wait 1 second. We'll get you guys right back into this. I apologize for the inconvenience. And we'll be back up and running any moment. So bear with us. So, chat, what are your thoughts on it being one-sided? Is it okay what Cardi B did? Is it okay that not even Cardi B, let's not even try to alienate her, but is it okay for any woman to do anything that's wrong? Because I think if the tables are turned, it could be, you know, done against women. I mean, if men did that, the men will get crucified, and it's not a good thing, and it shouldn't be. Like, it shouldn't be allowed. So what do you guys think? Because I know if a man came on the news and said, "Hey, to make it by, I would drug them and take their money while they were sleeping and rob their jewelry and their chains and shit," you explode.
That we've
Yeah.
sexualized female
Well,
artists.
all of them. All of them. I mean, look at Miley Cyrus, the queen of twerk. Madonna, when she did the Like a Prayer thing, the whole world flipped because she's on the stage grinding her hips. I used to watch Beyonce videos, and those videos were like softcore porn videos, but she had her clothes on. So we as a society have sexualized the hell out of what's the girl that got beat up by Chris, whatever his name is?
Rihanna.
Rihanna has been like they've all been sexualized. That's the only way we accept women in performance, is to sexualize the living hell out of them.
But I also think in rap and in R&B, that's like
It's even worse.
that's the envelope that's pushed the most, right?
It's even
Because
worse.
rap
Yes.
rap is really and I love rap, but they do a disservice to women on the way they talk about them, the way they reference them, the word that's thrown around crazy to reference them. And then
But-
when they're the artists, they also sexualize. I mean, look at Little Kim, right? Little Kim always was half naked doing most of her shit.
Which speaks to my point, but like, we've always done that. The way that they get into anything. That's what we as men in our society have. That's what they're here for. Like a fucking prick. But I mean, that's what it's been. So it just seems like this is the natural progression. We've been doing this our entire lives. Every female artist I can think of has been sexualized.
So,
To a ridiculous.
Dustin, I think you should introduce us into. I think we've talked about a lot of the woke stuff already. I think we should go into the news and new news.
Yeah, no. We was already gonna switch gears because I definitely my favorite segment of the whole wild world. I think it's absolutely awesome, and I'm gonna tee it up with what we left off with because the WAP hit definitely a vein, not just for me, but I think for the entire country, because we're all screwed up and everything like that. So we're gonna move to our news or no news segment, and right out the gate, we're gonna touch exactly on what I was saying before. First of all, how is it possible, news or no news, that it took to 2021 for Nas to win a Grammy? Is that news or no news?
That's news.
Yeah, what do you think?
Nas, if you like East Coast hip hop, and if you like it from its early times, you consider him one of the top 2 or 3 guys to ever grab a microphone. So it doesn't surprise me because in that time, they didn't feel that hip hop was a legitimate genre because it was only really Black folks in the hood listening to it. But, 20 years later, and also the product that they're putting out now isn't nearly as good as that stuff that Nas made back in the day. So I said earlier, I feel like they owe him a Lifetime Achievement Award or something like that, because he's been one of the best sources of hip hop, in my opinion. Top 10, easily top 5, in my opinion, all time.
Hey, H, you heard that song Spicy? That shit is fire.
Yeah.
Did you hear the album?
No.
Okay. Spicy's a really good song. It's off of that new album. I don't think it's as great as some of the stuff he's done before, but it's a really, really, really good song. What are your thoughts, H? News or no news that it took almost 20 years for Nas to get a Grammy?
Definitely news, man. It's but like, look at all these artists coming out. Like, Weeknd said he'll never go back and he'll never let his label, put it into a contention for a Grammy. He said, "Fuck the Grammys." You got Kanye, "Fuck the Grammys." Like, even though he's been extra about it, Kanye, but he's been right on the money. It might not have been the way people may have wanted him to go about it, but he was on point. Like, the guy, when he got mad when Beyonce should have won Album of the Year, it was some dude called Howard Beck. Like, nobody knew who the fuck that was or is. So, like, why is this person winning album of the year and nobody knows who the fuck it is? But Beyonce is known across all genres around the entire planet. So when you release best album of the year, it's something that can cross pollinate. And Beyonce has reached that status where it's cross pollinating. You know, Drake is in that stratosphere now. Even though like The Weeknd is, even he cross pollinates at a really low level, but he probably doesn't like he's come on and say that he doesn't want to politic with any of the the people who vote on the Grammys. He's like, fuck them. So who knows? Maybe Nas was like, all right, I'm not gonna politic either. I'm just gonna let the music, speak for itself. And who knows if the guys were like, all right, this is his 87th time on the ballot. Let's just throw him a bone, kind of thing.
What was that dude's name that you said?
The Weeknd?
John Beck.
Oh, John Beck? Something like
Beck,
that.
What
Beck,
the fuck?
you know the band,
What,
Beck.
what the fuck does John Beck know about real hip hop?
And it wasn't
I
even.
don't think it was the category was hip hop. I
It was
think it was
just
like
best album
it
of
was
the
the
year.
best artist or album of the year.
But speaking to what they're saying, like what do the people at the Oscars know about hip hop? Like it seems to me like that's a really hoity-toity executive type bunch. And hip hop is the anthem of the streets. So honestly, what the fuck could they know about good hip hop? I don't even think they're qualified to hand out that award.
Yeah, I just wanted to correct you. Definitely the Grammys, but I wanted to steal what you were saying about the Oscars. That I feel like it's all bullshit. Because if Halle Berry can win for Monsters Ball and get banged out by some white boy, and that's why she won, and Denzel Washington could win for being a corrupt cop, that's bullshit. The whole award system is fucked up, and we really need to start looking at that too. Who's voting for these awards? It should be their own peers. It should be people that have been in the industry. It should be studio execs that are in the game and getting it done. It just seems like that's another thing too. I'm surprised when you said earlier that NWA won a Grammy and WAP won a Grammy because they don't really, they had to invent the Hip Hop Source Awards so they can start really giving the awards to the people really doing the shit. Because at the end of the day, I don't give a flying fuck how cool country music is. That's not what everybody's listening to. But they swear and love to give out awards like that all the time. Because what my man Kanye West, swiped the award from that homegirl. What's her name?
Taylor Swift.
No, Taylor Swift. I mean, her shit is fire. I'm not gonna say her shit is fire now, but
She owes
come
Kanye
on.
West a lifetime of royalties. Because if he doesn't do that,
Yeah.
she's just become
She
America's
would've never gotten
sweetheart,
that.
and she would have never gotten
Right.
that big.
Right.
Everybody loves a victim.
Oh, that's what this country's turning into. They love.
Talking about victims.
Right.
about
So
victims.
hold on. I want to go.
Go ahead.
I want to go real quick before because I had this thing teed up. You go to the next one. So did you see what happened to Bill Burr about him taking shots at the woke feminism? They destroyed him. So I wanted to ask you, Uncle Salty, because I know that you are Afro-American. Because sometimes I think like black could be considered offensive. Some people don't like that. So I want to make sure we use the right
Black
term.
is fine, thank
Okay,
you.
you like black. What is a coon reference to? What does that mean when someone calls? Yeah. I want to know what that means because I don't know what that means. I know what an Uncle Tom means, and I know what some of the other stuff means.
Yeah, cooning is very
Oh, that's what I thought.
similar.
Is it a reference that's
Yeah.
only done to a woman or to a man?
No, cooning goes across genders, and it's really not something you want a fellow African American to accuse you of. Because
Right. So they
it's not
called his
very
wife a
far-
coon because he made a joke about the woke feminists, and so they kind of proved this point. If you go
Yeah,
after them, they try to assassinate you, and then why would you call his wife that? Like he said that. He could get all the backlash all day, but it's kind of unfair that his missus had nothing to do with it. Oh, and then now the rhetoric that's being pushed through Twitter is that most racist men usually are dating interracial people.
Okay, first of all, that's an obnoxious claim.
Right? Isn't that crazy?
Because if you're truly a racist, your concern is white genocide. White genocide, it's happening everywhere. So you wouldn't mix your delicious white genes with those inferior Negroes. So, I mean, the idea that a true white supremacist dates out of his or her race is kind of ridiculous. Bill Burr is from Massachusetts, and I've seen him do 10-minute bits about Black people that I didn't find offensive at all. I don't know what his level of chauvinism is, but to call his wife a coon, no matter who you are, that's crossing the line.
I just wanted to make sure. I just want to make sure because I thought that was egregious.
Just because he says something about feminism doesn't have anything to do with her Black identity. Does it? Or am I missing something?
No. I thought it had nothing to do with it. Go ahead.
The issue is just that anybody could say anything on a keyboard and 240 characters on Twitter that they won't say to somebody in their face. It's just like when Kobe won the Oscar and somebody went on Twitter right away and said, well, he still raped the girl. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, people are going to just say insensitive things, which I still think they should be allowed to say insensitive things. I think freedom of speech, no matter what, should happen. But those people will never say anything to somebody in their face. So I think we, as a people, need to stop giving oxygen to these little flames of people who go and say something and just let it, catch fire, and then everybody wants to talk about it. But those people who are saying those things are looking to get sound bites and looking to get a good 10, 15 seconds of fame and get retweets and get likes and all that nonsense. That's what it's getting driven by.
I think we're in a time of overcorrection, and I feel like it's going to come back to earth a little bit. But there's a lot of groups of people separated by different things that feel like they haven't gotten their fair share or their fair shake. And I feel like on the left, there's a lot of desire to correct this. And I feel like the effort to correct it in several instances are overcorrections, like a lot of with the microaggression things. Like, I've been a Black guy all my life, and I know when I'm being racially insulted. And instead of talking about it with a microaggression and needing a safe space, you need to tell the person in front of you to go fuck themselves. Like, you have to stand up for yourself when you feel that there's a microaggression. You don't go to somebody and say there's a safe space. You tell the person in front of them why they're crossing the line and why they're being an asshole. So, I don't like the kind of overcorrection that's going on, because you got to let people be assholes so you can tell them that they're being an asshole. A lot of people don't know they're crossing the line, and you can't have everyone worried about the shit, about every single little tiny word that comes out of their mouth, because that's just not how we live in the real world.
Yeah, no, I think it's genius. What was the next news or no news?
All right, so we got kind of useless information right here. We got.
I'm gonna jump right out the gate. I already know what you're gonna come with.
J-Lo and A-Rod are on the rocks. What are your thoughts? News or no news?
I just don't understand why everybody's. I mean, first of all, when COVID happened, everybody broke up, and now we're still obsessed with these couples and all this bullshit. Like, why is it such a thing? I mean, it took over. They broke up for an hour, and then they came back. There you go, boom. So no news. I'm on it too. No news. Next one.
All right, we have not going to talk about crazy things and people stepping out of bounds and things like that. We got. Would you want to drive Uber in the state of the climate that we in right now?
So I was bringing it up to Uncle Salty. Did you see what happened to that girl that coughed on that dude?
Now she's getting 20 months, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Yes. That's so if that's the case, why would you drive for them? You got to deal with a lot of shit. I mean, I was in certain cabs in New York, and these guys had to staple plastic around their shit. Like, I'm not gonna get COVID, so I could drive you around.
I think
now maybe the food delivery thing is a little different, but now you got people that don't like. I used to drive for Uber. Everything was an inconvenience because people don't even know how to pull an Uber over. You're in the middle of the street and you trying to hail them down when there's areas and stops and places. But I think Uber was a mess. It was definitely a unicorn that was sent in to disrupt the normal businesses of a service that hasn't been upgraded in over 40 years. Yeah. But now it seems to be doing more harm to people than it's helping people. Because as a driver, you got guys putting, or girls, right, putting their kicks on top of your back seat, right? Like they don't even care. People are really not. They slam your door. Like people are not really nice to your vehicle, and it's your vehicle, and you're losing so much value on it by putting in all those miles. It seems like more of a prison sentence than a job.
What are your thoughts, Uncle Salty? Go ahead.
So I would say use.
Do you know that the Uber drivers rate you upon getting the ride?
Yeah, but the problem is that if you're getting massive rides and most people are giving you 4s and 5s, if a guy gives you a 1, it ain't gonna do jack shit. You literally have to report them to get something. And this is the only reason why that guy had his life saved, potentially, or saved in the sense that she got in trouble, is because he had a cam on her. That was the only reason. And a lot of those dudes don't drive with cams. But I'm sure they should make that a mandate.
This is to all people in all times. If you are working in any capacity, you should have your phone recording what's going on. I know your boss might not like it, but you need a record of what's transpiring. But driving for Uber, it's basically a taxi driver with none of the protections that taxi drivers get. And it's not a very high wage. And ever since they passed whatever and made them all independent contractors, driving for Uber would not be on my list of ways to make a living.
The only reason why I think it's news is just because it's a result of COVID. If we didn't have these stupid regulations and stupid stipulations of mask or no mask or whatever, no ride sharing or not, putting up a cape or not putting up a cape, all this nonsense, all this fucking nonsense. Especially everybody in that car, if they didn't, as long as they didn't have cancer or a pre-existing condition or a heart condition or something like that, we're in the safe zone of getting COVID or not getting COVID. So if we didn't have this whole overreaction to COVID, this video doesn't happen. Like this situation where a girl coughs on a guy doesn't happen because it's not a big deal. The media has driven people insane. Like you got maybe a homegirl was getting unemployment, but she's probably freaking out trying to show in front of her friends because because of the delirious of being home all day. Like that shit wears on your mind.
You know what I also want to bring up too? Girls on the low are starting to become bullies because they know that they're potentially untouchable. And so they could do and say shit sometimes and not really worry about repercussions. Because if a guy did that, he would automatically be in trouble. But if a girl did that, I found it interesting that they even gave her 20 months because usually they would have just gave her a fine.
What she did was the equivalent of having AIDS, cutting your wrist and bleeding all over somebody. I mean, she just did some real dumb stuff. And yeah, I agree. If a guy had done that to him, he probably would have went in the back seat and punched him in the face.
Exactly.
And then, yes.
Right,
and
but
then
now if I punch her in the face, I'm toxic masculinity, right? If I go and rock her, I'm the asshole. And this is the thing. You got to be careful. It's a slippery slope.
Fuck that. Slap the shit out of her. Live with the fucking repercussions. That's the only way this is going to be your argument. You want to be equal to men? There you go. Now you're equal, bitch. And you just move from there.
It's just like if you want to assault somebody, you should expect to be assaulted back.
Exactly. Like, and I'm not saying obviously men.
That's fair.
Not saying men go out there, pick a fight with women, and beat the shit out of them.
Right.
But if a woman goes and spits on you and tries to rip your clothes or punch you in the face, just one of those, they chill out. Like,
by the way, this is not the first time. This is not the first time a female has been caught. It's not the first time a female has acted irrational to an Uber driver.
No, it's not.
There's multiple videos
from violent women. I put as much physical space between the two of us as possible.
No, but what I'm saying is this has happened a lot. This has happened a lot, and I feel bad for some of these Uber drivers because women, they get into their tirades and they try to punk these guys, and this is the first time at least something's happening about it because I've seen multiple videos of women attacking Uber drivers and not dealing with any repercussions. So, anyways, we got to still a lot on this plate.
Yep.
So let's move forward. We're gonna start pounding some of this stuff out. We just getting emotional. Apparently, the XY and XX chromosomes. We're just fucking losing our goddamn mind here. By the way, we love all you women. Okay, I love you so much. I'm gonna
You're
go kiss one in the
responsible for all life.
Yeah,
Women are
you're a G.
responsible for all
You're a
life.
G. You're the greatest thing ever. All right, go. What's the next one? Let's hit it.
Sharon Osbourne has new allegations of racism.
By the way, so I didn't even put this thing in it, right? I want to send prayers to the people their families were killed at the Atlanta spas that homebody went on a riot on. And since COVID, people have been fucking up Asians left and right. And so this is another situation where Mrs. Osbourne, is making Asian reference racist jokes to her co-host and to her lesbian co-host. And,
what did she say exactly?
I forget what, but she was using crazy shit like slopey or chinky, shit like that.
What?
Yes.
Why you guys discuss it? What do you think of Uncle Salty?
That to me
That's
is
news for me.
That is reason for cancellation right there. If you go on national TV and start talking about Asian people,
No. She wasn't. It was behind the scenes.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't on air. It was like that's how, like let's say if you had a good friend, and I've not seen this before, but I have a good friend and he's Afro-American and his nickname is Black, but he cool with that, right? And but I guess she wasn't cool, so she was making nicknames in reference to that, and it was creating a toxic workspace. And so now Osbourne is on the fire due to this. I say it's super news because she's been on the air for a hot minute, and she always swears like she's above everything else. And on The View, they just be assassinating people. And so, she's not on The View anymore. She's on another show. So I don't know.
She looks like a big hypocrite.
Facts.
Yeah. And
Ozzy's done so much fucking acid, he doesn't even know what time of day it is anymore. So,
when I saw Ozzy come back from, when he came back into the limelight, I thought that he was the best advertisement for not using drugs in the entire world.
Oh,
because
for sure.
I had never seen a burnt brain worse than.
Yeah, he looked like, and I wasn't taking a shot, but he almost looked like he had, mental damage, as if he was a pro fighter. A la Cash.
Right,
yeah. You know what I mean? And all you did was drugs and party.
Reading quickly on this.
Yeah, tell me.
It sounds like they would talk shit to each other. Reading the article. So it's
okay,
just like men
there you go.
talking shit to each other, and now it's news because maybe homegirl wants some type of notoriety now. So
see, that's the thing.
That's the issue. So
news comes out is crazy, man. It's not 100% news.
So that's the issue.
Right?
So if I was having a conversation with one of my homeboys and they said, "Hey, you like to eat rice and beans all the fucking time," is that now? Let's say if in a couple years I would say he was being racist because he said I want to eat rice and beans. That's from what I'm reading from the article is how it can go because they were maybe ragging on each other. Who's not to say if the Asian girl would say go eat some fucking fish chips or some shit because it's an English thing.
You got to deal with that shit in the moment at the thing. You have to be brave enough to challenge these people when you think you're being insulted racially.
Yeah, but you know what the problem is? You know what the problem is, bro? I just watched Justice League, right? And the guy who's playing Cyborg basically got kicked off of movies in the future because he spoke up. And this is the problem in Hollywood, and this is the problem in the entertainment business. People don't speak up because they're afraid of the lion or the lioness in the jungle kicking them off and blacklisting them. And a lot of people are not brave enough to stand up because one dude stood up, Ray Fisher stood up, and they kicked him off the Flash, and he will never play Cyborg again. And good luck if he ever gets a movie again. Same thing with my man who played in Star Wars. I love that motherfucker, by the way, because he was in the streets with BLM. He was talking mad shit. Have you seen him in a movie lately? Okay, next, because there's news.
Well, you have to understand the thing the world hates the most.
Yes, I go ahead. Right, of course. So there you go. All right, next.
Hi, world.
There you go. I like it. Introduce it. We're dropping this on Twitter for my man.
Tiffany Haddish has beef with Nicki Minaj. News or no news?
I say it's only news because, again, back to the feminist stuff. They got to start getting along. But apparently she took shots to Nicki Minaj, saying that Nicki Minaj is not a really nice person, and Tiffany's a little bit more grounded because obviously she comes from, a stand-up comedy background. And kudos to her because she won the Grammy for Best Comedic Album, which I think is great. I think she's hilarious as fuck. I also told you last week if she was in Coming to America too, that movie would have been way better. And so she's just taking a shot to Nikki in the sense of saying that she's not really a nice person. I say that's news only because women need to start figuring out how to get along better. I'm about to get kicked off.
To be honest, I think it's no news just because women talk shit to each other all the time. So, I think it's no news just because women talk shit to each other all the time.
Hold on. It still says you're on. Just turn on your camera. Just get up.
The screen's probably locked. Or something.
Yeah.
I have the scene switched anyway.
You're ready.
So I just think it's no news just because women talk shit about each other all the time. Ew, she's fat. Oh, ew, her makeup is messed up. Oh, she ain't shit because she was mean to this person, or this person was this and that. So like, I've seen women have conversations. I've seen women talk about other women. So I think it's no news for me. But
yeah, I'm with it. Okay, that sounds cool. Next,
we got Patrick Ewing has problems at MSG.
What is going on with these dudes?
What do you think?
I think that's news. That's super news. Like, what are they doing? They alienate Charles Barkley. I mean, granted, it was security and it wasn't James Dolan this time. But if I'm an up and coming all-star player in the NBA, I would never want to play with the Knicks.
True.
So I would say news. Because now you fucking violated two of the best Knicks all time. What's wrong with y'all?
I'm not behind the scenes, but
first of all, if you're a security guy, you should fucking know. I mean, granted, he's older, but you should know who the fucking Patrick Ewing is. Like, you should not be working at MSG if you don't know who the fuck Patrick Ewing is and know at least what he looks like.
I think
now, granted, he hasn't been in the limelight lately, but come on.
I think the real issue is that it's COVID. So, like, who knows if that security guard or the security that MSG has hired for the NCAA event, if, let's say, who knows, down the road, if they get taken a survey and the survey is, did you see Donald let somebody walk in to this area without being checked? Like, we don't know the procedures of the security company. What are they gonna do? Who knows?
I guess that's fair. Because you don't want to like lose your job because you weren't doing it properly. So maybe he was just. But I'm just saying, like, the optics of it look horrible.
No, for sure. But like, again, like, I guess if he was Michael Jackson or if he was Michael Jordan, like, I get it.
And also, to play with your idea. I mean, he could have been wearing a mask. It could have been difficult. You know what I mean? All right, go ahead. Go to the next.
We got Johnny Depp claims Amber donated all of the $7 million. Donated all his money.
Yeah, so basically, in a civil suit claim that she was trying to sue him overseas for, right? That made all that news, and they basically killed each other in court. She's a jerk. He's a jerk. Blah 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 blah. You're back in, B. So apparently she pulled a like an Amazon. She took half the money, but instead of half the money, she took $7 million money, and then she donated it all to charity. I guess that was like another screw you. So instead of me keeping the dough, I'm gonna give it away to show you that I really want to screw you. I won this case, and with the money that I won, I'm donating it. Here's another.
No news. I feel like women are gonna do fuckboy shit to men any chance they get. So fuck them.
Got it. All right, you're back on, Uncle Salty. What do you think?
I think Amber Heard is the hottest human being I've ever seen in person.
All right,
so we got
that could be considered toxic masculinity. Okay, go ahead. What's the next one?
So we got Justice League. The Justice League drops. Are you excited about it?
I seen it. I was excited. I waited a long time for this film. Like I said, I thought it was better than the original. I want to watch it again and kind of dissect it. But it's a really cool movie. For 4 hours, it's kind of interesting because it's like broken up in chapters. So I'm excited. How about you guys? I know Uncle Salty really is not a big movie critic. Not news. Okay. Lovely. Let's go next.
I say
No,
yeah,
Are you
definitely.
excited, Jay? Are you excited? Because you think it's trash.
I think it's no news just because almost all DC movies suck.
There you go. Okay,
Besides
next.
Wonder Woman.
Right.
So now we got Around the Leagues, my man.
Finally.
Here we go.
Dustin.
Here we go.
Here we go. So we got my man Dustin, guys, Around the Leagues.
Let's
It's
go.
true.
Who spent the best money in free agency, and who are the winners and losers? What's your
All right,
thoughts?
cool. Well, so we'll let Uncle Salty start because I think I know the easy answer for this, and then I'll piggyback for him. Who's the winner of free agency? Come on.
It's got to be the Patriots.
Right.
It's got to be the Patriots. They were really fortunate for COVID because they had, I think it was the third most cap space. And now that the salary cap is actually coming down, having all that extra cap space has allowed them to add some pieces. And all of the pieces they chose to add are guys who are somewhere under 27. Most of them are coming off of their rookie contracts. And I feel like they made a lot of good moves. Belichick has wanted to run that 2 tight end offense since before Gronk. So now he has it because he drafted 2 tight ends last year. And now he brings in the top free agent, in my opinion, which was Hunter Henry. And the second tight end coming from the Titans. They also added a couple guys on the defensive line. They got back their left tackle from the 49ers for virtually nothing after he went over there.
From Vegas.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, from Vegas. I'm going to have to say I feel like Belichick and the Patriots won free agency. And you look at their team last year, they were 7-9. They missed 2 or 3 games in the beginning of the season by 1 or 2 plays. So with all these additions and whatever they're going to decide to do at quarterback after Cam, I feel like they're a contender in the AFC again. And then after that, I feel like the Cardinals quietly did a really good job as well that nobody's talking about, where they made a couple moves for their offensive line. And I think they might have got a couple more pieces for their young quarterback.
Yeah, I was going to chime in. You took both of my answers because I definitely think that New England has positioned themselves in a really good place. To now at least get players at key positions that they don't have to worry about and take flyers in the draft, and they're still loaded in draft equity that they're gonna go spend out there, and they were wheeling and dealing like nobody's business. All the trades they did, they moved up, they moved down, they moved left, they moved right. I definitely agree with the Cards too. I think adding a center, I mean, we'll see how AJ Green kind of comes back, but if he's reinvigorated and maybe playing on turf is better, because Cincinnati, they play outdoors, that might have been a reason why he got injured a lot. He might come back, and you got the young man behind center there. They might be great. And then we didn't think it was a great idea, but they add JJ Watt. Maybe that was some of the leadership they might need for a young team. I would have said that the Cardinals might have done stuff. Breaking news, it happened earlier. I didn't say it either. I would have said also, I think in a little bit of a different thing, because I'm not turning over my hat. I don't want to get shut down by the NFL. But I think the in third place, I would say the Jets are starting to make a little noise too. They just signed Corey Davis, and they also, breaking news, they signed Juju Smith-Schuster, I believe, to a 1-year deal for $5.5 million, and now they're going to be on the radar. So I think overall,
I don't think they signed Juju.
Facts. It came on the wire. Look it up. Double check me, because I almost cried when it happened. That's the player that I wanted. That's the player that I wanted, and I'm excited. I would say now for losers, that's going to be hard, because I feel like
Seattle Seahawks are big losers.
You actually, you know what? You're 100% right on that. I would double down on that. And the word on the street is the Chicago Bears made a huge push to get Russ, and they didn't get him. But that's another thing. But there was a lot of offensive linemen out there. They didn't buy any of those dudes. There was a lot of weapons. They're downgraded. I mean, I know that they got 2 great receivers, but outside of that, they don't have much.
They didn't get Juju.
No?
It was Keelan Cole.
Oh, damn. I should have seen. Son of a bitch. They were teasing me.
They didn't do anything. They didn't do anything to make their franchise quarterback their 25% of the salary cap. They didn't do anything to make him happy. They didn't even make him a gesture. they gave him a gigantic middle finger.
And that's what they keep doing. What do you think? Who would you say a winner and loser for you, Jay?
The
Is?
winners are the Bucks. They stood pat.
That's actually a really good statement that's not being put together.
They brought
Gronk,
everybody back.
Yeah, they franchise Godwin. They get Barton back. They got everybody back that they want to chip with.
Got Shaq Barrett. Everybody's good, ready to run it back. They're probably gonna get Antonio Brown on a discount because nobody's gonna want to sign him anyway. Because
Brady chopped his money.
Everybody looking at Brown is like, we don't want to touch him. The only person who's gonna probably be able to fuck with homeboy is Tom Brady because Tom Brady kept him in control, kind of. I think Gronk is never gonna leave Tom Brady. That's his quarterback for life. So they brought him back. I think even if they would have said, "Yo, here's $5 million," he probably would have took $5 million. Who knows? The biggest losers, it would just be probably the Texans. You didn't do anything. First of all, you sign another backup. You sign Tyrod Taylor. Poor Tyrod Taylor can't get a perfect situation, and every time he does get a perfect situation, he gets fucking replaced right away. That's another.
Yeah, they stab him in the lung and shit with fucking needles.
Exactly.
Thank you, Chargers, for that one.
And coming from Houston, and now they trying to smear Deshaun. I just think they're the worst. The Jets, I don't know what the fuck they're doing over there. I would have been like, Seattle, here's 8 first-round picks. Let's get the ball rolling. And then they use the rest of the money in free agency to get somebody.
You know what's crazy? To bring those guys up, nobody wanted to sign with the Jets. That's why they got the guys they got.
Yeah.
And I was surprised if Juju's not off the board and he's still on the board, and this is probably one of the around the leagues. I'm surprised that Davis went first and that Juju and Galladay are still on the board.
I think people are waiting to see what happens in the draft. Like maybe the day or two before the draft, there's going to be some splashing, some trades going on we just don't know about right now. Because now they're supposed to next year too. Like the salary cap might go down again. So that's why a lot of guys got cut. A lot of guys are not getting long-term big deals unless you're a fucking great player, rockstar. Yeah. And to be honest, there isn't any rockstar free agents out right now. None.
Now this was more of a meat and potatoes free agency where you got guys at key positions. If anything, there was a lot of offensive linemen available. Outside of that, they wasn't like really dynamic. There wasn't like a killer running backs. Hunter Henry, it was touted as one of the best tight ends, but he's been injured over the last few years. So I don't put a lot of stock in homeboy. Juju's a 2. I think Galladay's a 2. Corey Davis is a 2. So there was nothing really big in this free agency. But like I said, I really dig what the Patriots are doing. I even like what the Bills did too. And it's kind of strange. Mitch Trubisky's era as a Chicago Bear is done because he signs with the Bills.
Yep.
So that's going to be interesting.
It's going to be tough for a wide receiver now to sign a big money deal where they're getting like 14 to 18 million a season, just for the fact that in every season in the first 2 rounds, you're getting 3 or 4 guys that can come in and get 80 receptions for you. With the guy that the Cowboys took last year, and also the rookie that the Denver Broncos took last year. These guys are able to plug and play. It's not like it used to be where you need to wait 2 or 3 seasons for a wideout to pay any kind of dividends. These guys are available in the draft. So why am I going to pay you, Kenny Galladay, $18 million when I can draft a second and a third round receiver, spend less than $2 million, and maybe 2 years from now, I hit on one of those guys and they're giving me the same production you would have for $17 million a season, and I'm getting them for 3 years for less than $4 million. It's just going to be tough for wideouts going forward.
All right, we're coming against the clock again. This darn thing, we're gonna shut it down and then come back on for one, hopefully last time for another 40 minutes. But I wanted to blend the around the leagues and the news or no news. Are any of you guys interested or care that Drew Brees retired?
No, I think it was just time. I think he ran into a lot of bad luck with the Minnesota Miracle and then the Rams with the bad offensive pass interference. He had a great career that the stats scream that he was a top QB, ever, but just underwhelmed with really a lot of bad breaks.
Yeah, and he's not a big guy, He's listed at, I think, 6 feet, which means he's probably about 5'10" and a half. And he played half the season with broken ribs. There's huge guys out there crushing you. And when you get into your 30s and 40s, I would imagine you get a little bit tired of that crap, of getting beat to hell almost every day and having trouble breathing for half the season. So it just seemed like it was time for Drew.
And it doesn't help that Tom Brady's in your division either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna save my take for after this quick break, because we're gonna end this call, and then I'm gonna gush a little bit about Breeze, and then we'll move forward.
All right. Make sure you guys are hanging in there with us. I apologize for this weird dynamic of how we having it going on right now. We will have it under we will have it under wraps and tightly wound next week. But we're moving and grooving. Bear with us. I'm just waiting for the link and we're just waiting for the Zoom to commence and hang in there with us, guys. Bear with us. We're moving and grooving. We're gonna have this. We're gonna have this together, man. All right, we're gonna have this together. Don't freak out. Just waiting to get let into the room. Bear with us. Bear with us. We're moving.
Boom.
Moving and
You back?
grooving.
All right, cool. Yeah, we got another 40, and then we're gonna get back to work and get all this other stuff. What I wanted to gush about was I'm really sad but happy at the same time. I think it was awesome that Drew was able to get one ring. I thought they were going to be able to do more. I really enjoyed the Saints, Reggie Bush, Colston area, and them having a good time with all that. He's been in the business a long time. I also feel like what was also amazing for his situation was that he was a Charger for a little bit. I used to play and it's a big reason why I came out to San Diego. So yeah, it's gonna be sad to see him go. I'm a little upset about it. What you gonna do? He had a good career. He got massive numbers, so at least he got a chip out of it. All right, what do we got next?
We also, I'm sorry, we have a runner league. We got how come so many bridge quarterbacks got paid?
I can't believe it. What's that dude's name? The Dallas Cowboys?
Andy Dalton.
How did he get $10 million?
I don't know, man. And look at Joe Flacco. Now Joe Flacco's getting a tryout, so like it's a weird, I think they're trying to, since the salary cap is going down, they're just giving a lot of 1-year deals out. If you notice, nothing it was a massive deal. Like even Shaq Barrett got it was like a 3-year deal. It wasn't even a 5-year, $100 million deal. Like none of these deals were massive. for the most part. Dalton got a 1-year deal. Tyrod got a 1-year deal. All these dudes got 1-year deals, and it just shows how the power of the billionaires and the franchises, that if you're not the elite Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun, you're kind of expendable, and it doesn't even matter.
You don't have to say kind of. You're totally expendable, and you should know it. You know.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. All right, next one.
All right, we have. Is it weird that everybody's in the Nets bandwagon right now?
I don't know, man. Carhartt is selling this thing right now. Everybody's selling this thing. I think I gave a quote that he put out saying that, Harden is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Now Kevin Durant's healthy. They just added Blake Griffin to the show. I don't know. I think we were banging on our chest earlier. I was saying Brooklyn was going to be fired earlier on in the season. So I'm surprised that that everybody else is catching up with my opinion.
What's your take, Uncle Salty?
If there were a bandwagon, I would jump right smack dab in the middle of it. The Thin Man is probably the best scorer I've ever seen other than Jordan. I just think he's unstoppable when he's on. Not only is this guy 7 feet tall, but when he gets off his feet, he's got some hops. There's really no way to block his turnaround. And also he can shoot from Steph Curry range. And I think if he were to put on a couple of pounds, he could play in the post. So right now, I think he and LeBron are your 1 and 2 players in the league. I even feel like that over the last, 5 or 6 seasons. And then Kyrie, with all the non-basketball issues that he has, this guy getting to the rack can finish with either hand on any defender as well as anyone I have ever seen in the NBA. And come playoff time, when you need a bucket, having a guy like that where you can just kind of hand the ball, clear it out, and let him create, and then having a guy like Kevin Durant on the team as well, and then Harden. I mean, I don't see how these guys don't at least make the finals and take it all the way to Game 6 or Game 7 if they don't win. There's just so much firepower and so much talent.
What do you think, Jay? Because you're like the aficionado of the NBA.
I think, like I said, I had them winning the chip before even getting Harden. I thought just getting Harden was an overkill. I think they were pretty much set up with Karis LeVert having a deep bench, having having Jared Allen, having what kind of messed them up too. What I think they had to make this big move was Spencer Dinwiddie got hurt. He was out for the season. So, they just thought that, James Harden could account for all of those guys. And it's looking that way because right now he's having an MVP caliber season. And there's no Durant right now. And they're cooking and they're moving. So who knows how they're going to look when Durant comes back. And supposedly Durant has a hamstring injury for the most part. He's been out, he said, for another 2 weeks. So it must have been a torn hamstring, by speculation. And,
I wanted to ask you, when Uncle Salty said top 2 player, how can he be the top 2 player when he's always injured every season? That's what I want to know, because he's got to be 3. I know he scores.
The thing is that he's an automatically game changer. So like, not being on the court doesn't mean that you're still not one of the best players on the planet. Like Embiid is out now. He's not going to win the MVP anymore. He was basically right behind LeBron.
He's another one, by the way. He's another dude that is constantly injured.
But we spoke about this a couple weeks ago where they did a stupid bullshit COVID protocol shit with Kevin Durant. And now he was coming back off the injury. He was cooking. Then they stopped him with another protocol. Then he came back. He was cooking. Stopped him with a COVID protocol. So
you said the protocols might have fucked up his physical.
Might have, because he was already in the groove. He was moving. Maybe him sitting down at home, relaxing, because he had to deal with the stupid COVID tracing shit. Now he's back in. He's back. He has to go back to in the lab. He's probably at practice and pulled something or tore something because he keeps stopping and starting. When you're an athlete, you always want to keep in constantly in motion. Even if you take a rest day, you do a light workout. You do a jog, or you do any type of suicide or band workout. Like you do something. But like when you get who knows? He probably was frustrated with the league where he was on the court and they made him do a 7-day protocol, but both teams were able to stay on the court, or both teams weren't allowed to go into protocol, or they didn't put those two teams into protocol. So we touched about this a couple of weeks ago, and it's crazy. It's crazy, but I think they're the team to beat. I think they're the team to beat.
I agree.
Go ahead, bro.
I agree with the fact that you have to keep your body warm. You have to keep your body used to daily activity. If you stop, like COVID stopped so many people, and you sit around for a bunch of months or weeks or whatever, you're going to deal with some sort of physical repercussions afterwards. That happened to me personally. I missed work because my foot got all jacked up. Why? Because I was active for 4 or 5 years in a row every day, walking literally miles in my job. And then all of a sudden, I'm in my room for 45 days at a time.
Jesus.
It just,
COVID. It's just
right.
he's so sweet. He's so sweet. Oh, he's so sweet. I don't want to. Or they so sweet. It's probably they so sweet.
So
COVID
we're up towards the end of the show. You have
almost done.
You have your signature that you just came up with. How about you introduce us and lead us into this?
All right, cool. I seen most of it. Uncle Salty was able to watch a little bit of it and get the gist of it, so he could kind of hang on. We're on our Critics Corner, where once a week we pick a film and either shred it to death or lift it up. And we're like 0-4. 0-4. We have not been able to find one movie that was good, but I think this might have been the week. We might be 1-4 because the movie was very entertaining. And it's I Don't Care. And how do I say this young lady's name? Mrs. Pike. What's her first name? Rosamunda? Rosamunda?
I think so.
Rosamunda Pike? I think it's Rosamunda. Or Rosmunda. Could be Rosmunda.
Rosmunda. Rosa. Fuck that, Rosa. Anyway.
Pike, Mrs. Pike. So let's go with you because you're the hardest one on the film front. What did you think? So I wanted to break it down like this. What did you think about the acting?
I thought it was phenomenal on everybody's part.
Perfect. The casting?
I think casting was spot on.
Directing?
Amazing. I thought the movie was great.
Right? All around.
I thought all the movie was great. I kind of predicted the end. I don't know if you guys saw the end of the movie, but I kind of...
Well, he was yelling about it the whole time.
I kind of predicted the end when it was leading up to it. Spoiler alert, if you guys are looking out, it's called I Care a Lot. It's on Netflix.
Oh, isn't it? I Don't Care a Lot.
I Don't Care. Is it? I Don't Care. So I Don't Care a Lot. It's on Netflix.
I Don't Care. I think it's not I Don't Care a Lot.
Some shit. Anyway, it's on Netflix.
No, give it love. I Don't Care is the name of the film, I believe, and it's a Netflix original.
Yep.
And it's with Rosamunda Pikes. I don't even know.
And I thought they did a fantastic job. I thought
it was great.
I thought it started off great. They kept you engaged throughout the middle of the movie.
This is here. We got to watch it tonight, darling.
And then the ending tied everything in. I kind of foresaw that happening where homeboy or somebody was going to get fed up with her if she got the success of her. People are going to get fed up. Especially if it's your loved one and somebody who you love, and then you lose them. It could break you, like especially if that's just, that one person is your entire world. That can that can break you.
Cool? You think people could do that?
Yes.
What she was doing?
Yes.
You could just run up on you. That's why I want T to see it, because that is like some scary ass shit that someone could just come up and be like, "You're old. Sorry, I'm in charge now. Go fuck yourself."
Yep. I could definitely see it. Go ahead.
And after like 2 seconds of seeing what she was doing, I was like, someone's gonna kill her. It was clear to me, because that's the type of shit. Like seriously, if you did that to someone in my family, and you were super rich, and I was 20 years older, I would totally come and I would shoot you in your face.
So I see, like, I saw towards the end, like once the twist of them then not working together, like I thought it was kind of badass. I thought it was a little fake. I thought like as a Russian homeboy who like kills people, like those people who sent the car off into the bushes, they would have went to the fucking lake and made sure homegirl was dead.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
most of those people who work like that, want to, you know, those oligarchs or anybody who wants to make sure somebody's dead would have died. I thought the bullshit with the her lover, which I thought that was corny in the whole movie. If they were trying to portray this lesbian women kind of thing with empowerment and nonsense.
Wet ass pussy, bro. Wet ass pussy sells. So they were trying to do it times two.
So I thought that was a little like a stretch and a force on the audience. And like, let me tell you, somebody beats the shit out of you and it puts you right next to the stove and leaves the shit on for maybe 4 or 5 hours. You're dead. It's like you're sleeping and taking in carbon monoxide. I thought that was a little cheesy because as soon as she opened the door or moved anything, the explosion happens when they both get in the car and leave. Like, kind of bullshit, because that much carbon monoxide or that much gas, once it hits the socket or anything that has electricity in the house, that shit would have went up right away. So I thought that was bullshit. But
yeah, that part
besides that,
a fucking a little fringy. When they started that part, I was like, "Uh-oh, here comes Hollywood."
Yeah,
little movie magic. Because we even said when she was drowning in the car that as she got out, she would have been kind of out of it. You know,
exactly.
Like she was drugged up, and then all of a sudden she was ready kicking out glasses. You know, underwater, thinking so cool and calm and collected.
And let me tell you something:
like,
when that seatbelt locks and the car goes into like a crash mode, it locks. That shit doesn't come out unless you cut the shit off. So that she was able to pull it a little bit more, then slide out from under it. That shit don't happen. That shit doesn't happen. The reason why it has those seatbelts lock is for when it gets into an accident. Them shit's locked so you don't move. So that was bullshit too, because they made sure that she couldn't unhinge the clip. But besides those little stupid things that you kind of critique, I thought the writing was dope. I thought a lot of the imagery about when the lawyer came in and was like, "Listen, let her go. You'll be good." And she's like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna keep him." And he's like, "Listen, I don't want to do this." And then she looked a little shook because she thought he was gonna take out a gun, but then she shows the bread. I mean, homeboy shows the bread. I thought they should have made. I always forget his name. The little dude. What's his name?
Yep.
The actor's name? I forgot his name.
It's I don't want
He was from Game of Thrones. I forgot his name.
Yeah,
he's from Elf. He's a dope ass actor. I thought they should have made him. It reminded me a little bit of a comedy skit when the guy got out the taxi.
I don't think a little person is okay. So the
fucking midget, that dude.
Wow.
Okay.
Whoa, gotta get a cut. That easy. I think that's offensive too. Only if you up on porn.
I thought the when the taxi guy came up and he was mad shook, like I thought it should have been a little better. It looked like a comedy skit kind of thing. Like it didn't seem like he was an intimidating kind of figure. Like the guy, I thought making him afraid of just meeting with him in the parking lot off rip was a little But overall, I thought it was again.
I thought the best part of the whole movie was the beginning. That whole like speech she gives about how things really are in America and in the capitalistic time and space that we're in right now.
They call it the American dream.
Yeah, overall, I thought it was dope. I'm glad I checked it out. Hopefully, I can watch it again, but they might not want to watch it, so I don't know. I'm gonna go watch Justice League for the 4th time. Did we get any comments, or we just solo dolo in here again?
We had Lucho coming in, talk about the mainstream stuff and how people just it's not about being right; it's just about just being first. So whatever news you have, it doesn't even matter, even if it's wrong or right.
Yep.
As long as you can put it out there, and hopefully if you are right, you take off. If not, nothing happens to you. So that's where we are right now.
Well, H, thanks for doing this all for us and always producing such a great show. Uncle Salty, thanks for coming out and guest appearing and challenging us a little bit more on the left side. We'll be back next week and ready to rock and roll.
For sure. So, thank you guys for listening to us. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter. We're gonna have that Patreon up. Make sure you guys keep an eye out for that, and we're gonna get some more amazing content coming out for you guys. Just have a good night and be safe.
Yeah, stay healthy and be safe. Peace out.